Oh, welcome back to my vlog. Thanks for coming by again. This in this vlog, I'm gonna talk about my mental health diagnoses, what they are, a little brief synopsis of each one, and some of the medications I've taken. Well, let's get on with the show, as they say. In 1993, I was diagnosed with major depression disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and borderline schizophrenia. And what major depression disorder is, it's defined by psychom.net as a persistent feeling of sadness or a lack of interest in outside stimuli. It is also known as unipolar depression. Dissociative identity disorder, or DID for short, is defined by WebMD as a severe form of dissociation of mental process which produces a lack of connection in a person's thoughts, memories, feelings, or actions, or a sense of identity. It used to go by the name multiple personality disorder. Borderline schizophrenia is defined by as defined by psychom.net as someone who meets some but not all the criterion for schizophrenia, or to refer to parallel symptoms of borderline personality disorder and schizophrenia. This was after my first suicide attempt back in late 92, early 93, don't remember the exact time. After my first suicide attempt, I was institutionalized in a mental health hospital. I was living in Hawaii at the time. I spent 16 months in the hospital. While I was there at the hospital, I was first prescribed trazodone, which also goes by the name Deseril. Some of the side effects I suffered while on trazodone was anxiety, restlessness, and trouble sleeping. I believe I was on it for about 6 months, maybe 6 months to 8 months, somewhere around there. Then they changed my prescription to Paxil, which was better in as far as I remember it. I continued to stay on Paxil for about 2 years. About a year and a half after getting out of the hospital, after that period of time, I was taken off of it by my physician psychiatrist. Some of the side effects I suffered while I was on it, the ones I remember at least, was feeling restless and agitated, racing thoughts, excessive energy and trouble sleeping, and loss of appetite. And I stayed off of it all the way up till, stayed off any kind of antidepressant all the way up to, I want to say it was 2009. During that time frame when I was on no medication, my lows were really low. I tried to commit suicide multiple times during that. And I had self-medicated through drugs, alcohol. About 8 or 9 years ago, 2010, 2009, I was put on Prozac. And with my experience of antidepressants, I was very lackadaisical about my hope of any kind of real solid permanent fix. But to my surprise, at the time it worked really well. It kept my emotions stable, didn't have any side effects that I saw at the time. Then I was on it for about a good 4 or 5 years. Then about 2 years after been taking it, started noticing my moods were not so much stabling out, they're more flatlining. And at the end of my 4 or 5 years on Prozac, I had felt like a robot for like I had no emotions whatsoever. And that's when I voluntarily took myself off of it, because I knew that was not a very good, healthy mental attitude or whatever. And so I took myself off of it. Since then, I have not been on any medication for my depression. I still have my bad days, but they're not anywhere near as bad as they were. I still have my suicidal ideations, but they're fleeting and I don't let them stick around. And I will usually challenge those thoughts with how would my family feel if I did this, or along those lines. For nowadays, how I balance out my moods is I use meditation and positive thinking to help me through the worst of these days. And so far, I've been doing very well. I hope this has been informative to some of y'all. I'll see you in the next one.